Hi everyone, as promised I'm here to show you the navel cupping. The navel cupping was taught to me by Heather Bruce, who is an acupuncturist in Australia. Heather learned it from Dr. Shen, and she had a few notes on it. I'm going to show you what I've been doing in my room for about a year now. I learned through Heather's videos, and then I got to ask her a bunch of questions. So you're going to need a number 5 glass cup. Well, this is a number 5. This is the largest one that I could find. I also have this little jar from the kitchen. You could probably use something like this too. You need a large coin. This is a Mexican coin. If I lose this, which I do all the time, I use a quarter. We don't have 50-cent pieces here anymore. I haven't seen one in ages. And a tissue. I'm just going to show you the cupping part, and then after the cupping we do moxa on the navel. So you're going to need a little bit of oil so the cup sticks. We're going to take the tissue like this. I rip off the top because this is going to be the fire. And if you leave the top on, it gets a little out of control. I twist this just a little bit. There are some nuances to this. So for instance, if I don't want a strong of a suction, you can twist it a lot because there won't be a lot of air in there. We place this over the navel. This is to stop chi from coming out with the cupping. So this blocks you from taking out that person's vital chi. I'm gonna light this, and I'm gonna put the cup down. This specific cupping was given by Dr. Shen to remove cold. It rescues yang and removes cold. Okay, does that hurt? All right. I always ask them if it hurts. I tried this on myself and it hurt. So if it hurts, I will just take my finger ever so little and let a little bit out like that. And you're just gonna let the person sit for, I was doing it different times. Heather has left. She said this could be an hour. You could leave somebody for an hour. You want to cover them up, make them really warm. And you leave them be. I'm not going to cover her up for the sake of the video, but I'm tending to think that it's like an acupuncture treatment. You should leave them for about 20 minutes at least and not do anything else. It's hard for me to do that. Sometimes I just do it maybe for 10 minutes, but I'm thinking at least 20 minutes is probably the best thing to do. You want to make sure the person's well hydrated, their bladder is empty. It's very common for them to want to go to the bathroom and empty their bladder during this. I think Heather said that just means like it's time, it's done its magic. I've had all kinds of interesting reactions. Some people will feel like one foot is very cold. I've seen people's feet get very cold and then shift. If you're an acupuncturist or you know tongue diagnosis, you can look at their tongue before and after the treatment and you'll definitely notice a difference. You can also take the temperature of the feet with the shooter thermometer, which I do sometimes, and you'll see that the temperature changes. So after however long of a time, we just take the cup off, and that's that part. So the second part is, and it's really interesting, sometimes, and Dr. Shen didn't talk about moxa afterwards. Heather added the moxa, and because Heather said that she was noticing that the skin was very cold on some people, and I noticed that too. Another thing, I guess if we make this into a real program, another little nuance is you want everything to be already warmed. If it's not, I've noticed if I don't warm the cup first, that the skin is very cold. And if I warm the cup first, it's less cold. So we don't want to be adding cold onto the body. So make sure I have like a little plate warmer here, and I keep all of my stuff on the plate. And I grab it. So now we're going to do some moxa. I'm not an acupuncturist, but I'm always looking for things to do that are going to help my ladies. And we know that cold trapped in the body is the root of almost all period problems. Poor digestion, period problems, it would be prostate problems in men, and all kinds of poor digestion. So I know as a belly worker, I have felt over the pubic bone that there's a temperature change, that the uterus is cold. I've also felt cold around the navel, and that's lack of digestive fire, and that's definitely somebody that would be helped with this type of cupping. All right, so for the moxa, this is something that Heather has talked about. So I have seen we're going to use loose moxa over salt in the navel. Heather had a cool idea, is putting the salt on top of under the salt. So getting salt out of the navel, doing navel moxa is a huge pain. So this makes it really easy. So, and you want the salt to be warmed. If it's not warmed, it will be blooper. Okay, so I just brought my pretty bottle of salt. All right, we carry on. I'm gonna put that over there, and maybe we'll cut this out. I don't know. Okay, so this is moxa floss or moxa moss. It's loose. You're going to make, I'm not an acupuncturist. I do not want emails about that I'm not making the cones right. I just figure it out. It's better to try something and have it not be perfect than to not try it at all. Okay, so you want to press it so you get all of the air out. And you're going to place that. This is a lot of salt. I put extra. I wanted to make this video, but I'm out of ginger slices. So another option is salt. And you want to make sure it's not sea salt. Sea salt is damp and wet in nature, and we want to bring damp out. So you want to use rock salt, not sea salt. I'm going to put this on top. If I had ginger, I would use a little less salt and a slice of ginger under this moxa. And then relight it. With the size of this moxa here, this is going to get pretty hot. You could use a smaller amount if you don't have ginger, and I'll notice that it gets less hot. I also have noticed that the more cold the person is, the longer it takes for them to feel this. So you'll just, there's a lot of cool things with this to notice.